Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be discussing Big Herta as well as Aglaea when it comes to just their team possibilities, their value overall. And before we get into today's video, I would love to know from the 3.0 and beyond lineup, which character are you the most excited for? And lastly, if you guys enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. Also, if my voice sounds a little different today, I have a little bit of a cold from what it looks like, but regardless, I did want to make this video for you guys. So as you guys can see on screen right now, we have the question of Big Herta or Aglaea. So what I wanted to start off by talking about is their play styles. Now both of these characters are DPS characters, but there are differences in how they are played. When it comes to Big Herta, I have actually already showed her off on this channel, but essentially her play style revolves around using 2 Erudition characters to further her damage output. Herta will also be able to provide benefits for the team by having that additional Erudition as well, which is 80% crit damage, which all the characters on your team will be able to take advantage of this 80% crit damage. So as a result, she can assist with also making the Erudition character alongside her a bit stronger as well. Now, when it comes to her in combat, the goal is to stack as many interpretation stacks as you can. So when Herta uses her enhanced skills, she'll be able to deal a bunch of damage. You can stack up to 42 interpretation stacks, and of course, the closer you are to the maximum, the more damage you'll be able to deal, as each stack will be able to increase the damage multiplier. The goal will be to stack up to 42 as quickly as possible, which Erudition characters are very nice at helping out with this, as well as of course sustain characters that can potentially have AoE frequency or even provide energy for the team so you have more ultimate usage, and so on. And of course, when it comes to the supportive option on the team, you can either use a character that gives team-wide buffs, you can use a character that allows Herta to attack more often, for example, Sunday or Remembrance Trailblazer, and so on. So overall, when it comes to Herta's playstyle, she'll be paired up alongside another Erudition character. The goal is to, of course, get a bunch of interpretation stacks onto the enemy, so then when Herta uses her ultimate, which then grants her enhanced skill, she'll be able to nicely take advantage of this and then deal a bunch of damage onto enemies. Now, when it comes to Aglaea's playstyle, from what we know so far, she will be a very fast hyper carry DPS. She'll be able to attack very frequently due to the high speeds she'll be able to reach in battle alongside her Memo Sprite, which is the garment maker. And then when it comes to her teams, she'll want supports that further amplify her damage output, as well as of course supports that are able to provide her energy will be very wanted, as she does want a lot of energy to be able to take advantage of her ultimate. So supports that are able to provide her that additional energy will be very useful. Another noteworthy thing about Aglaea is that she'll also be our first limited Remembrance character, and as I mentioned, her Memo Sprite is the garment maker. Now that we've gone over some basics of their playstyles, in the case of Herta, dual Erudition, and the interpretation stacks, and in the case of Aglaea, her reaching very high speeds, as well as playing a very hyper carry oriented playstyle, I thought we can actually go over some team synergies as well for each of these characters. So starting off with Herta, as I mentioned, she does want a secondary Erudition character on the team. So I don't want to clutter up the screen too much, so I'll primarily be explaining Herta's teams. But when it comes to Herta, as mentioned, she wants a secondary Erudition character. Then you can go with a support of your choice, and you can either decide to go no sustain, or of course you can pick a sustain of your choice, which there are multiple sustain options you can definitely take advantage of. Starting off though with the Erudition character, 2 amazing free-to-play options you can use alongside Big Herta that I've actually showcased on this channel would consist of Serval or Little Herta. In the case of Serval, what you can end up doing with her is running the Passkey Light Cone, which is a 3-star light cone, and what this light cone does is it'll grant you more energy whenever you use your skill. Now, if you pair this alongside an energy regen robe, and then if you also have, for example, the Eagle set on Serval, now Serval can of course advance herself forward after using her ultimate, which her ultimate has a very low energy cost of only 100, so with a Passkey setup as well as an energy regen robe, and if there are multiple targets on the field, you can actually end up getting 1-turn ultimates with Serval, which allows her to attack very frequently, and what this now results in is her essentially being a battery, if you will, for Big Herta. And what I mean by this is Serval is going to be able to stack a bunch of interpretation onto enemies, which is very useful for allowing Big Herta to deal massive amounts of damage with her enhanced skill. So Serval and Big Herta is a very nice free-to-play synergy. And then on top of that, you can also use Remembrance Trailblazer as a very nice free-to-play option when it comes to your support. Remembrance Trailblazer will be releasing in 3.0 alongside Big Herta and Aglaea. And what Remembrance Trailblazer will be able to provide is the 100% advance forward, as well as also enabling Herta to be able to deal true damage onto enemies. Once Mem is fully charged at 100%, you can advance forward to Big Herta, and this now allows you to also grant Herta Mem support, which Mem support will now allow you to take advantage of true damage for every instance of damage you deal. This is just a nice way to deal additional damage output onto enemies overall, and this synergy is very strong for being a free-to-play centric team. So Remembrance Trailblazer can be an amazing option, but of course you can use an alternative support as well. You can use a character like Sunday. Also, I just realized my Sunday's little sticker is like freaking huge in comparison to the other little stickers, but whatever. You can use a character like Sunday. He'll be able to advance forward Herta, and what you can actually do with Sunday in particular, you can run slow Herta or you can actually run speed boots Herta. Either one works. I have tested both. In the case of speed boots Herta, what you would want is Herta to be 1 speed or above Sunday. And in that scenario, what would end up happening is Herta would attack and Sunday can advance her forward immediately, and then she can end up attacking again. What this results in is Big Herta being able to accumulate more energy to be able to also use her ultimate sooner, as well as also being able to inflict more interpretation stacks onto enemies. If you run slow Herta in the case of attack boots, what you can do is have Sunday be very fast, and Sunday will essentially advance forward Herta right behind him, and Sunday in a way is allowing Herta to attack far more frequently even though she is running attack boots and is on the slower side. So either build could honestly work. Both of them have performed very, very well through my testings. So I would say Sunday is a very, very nice option for Big Herta as well. Plus he'll also provide additional crit damage. And on top of that, he can also provide 20% crit rate with his talent. So this will allow you to get closer to reaching 100% crit rate on your Big Herta. Another option you can of course use is Robin. In the case of Robin, she'll be able to provide damage buffs, she'll be able to advance the entire team by 100%, which now allows you to have more opportunities to stack interpretation onto enemies, as well as also accumulate more energy. This can potentially result in you being able to take advantage of your ultimate before the cycle ends. And of course, Robin will be able to deal those additional physical damage ticks whenever your team does attack enemies after she uses her ultimate. So this can assist with ensuring that you deal additional damage onto enemies, but also potentially ensuring that you are able to defeat enemies. If they did have just a little bit of HP left, Robin can help with finishing them off. So Robin definitely is a very useful character as well that you can consider using on Big Herta teams. And of course, there's alternative supports as well. You can use Pela for the AoE defense reduction onto enemies. You can use Rame for the ult-type res pen, the speed, the additional weakness breaking efficiency, depending on who your Erudition character is, and so on. So there are definitely multiple supports you can highly take advantage of when it comes to using them alongside Big Herta. Now, when it comes to the sustain option, as you guys can see, I have all these sustains on screen. So what's really nice about Herta in particular is that whenever allies attack enemies, Herta will be able to gain 3 fixed energy per target hit. So what that means is, let's say you use a character like Lingsha, who has frequent AoE attacks when it comes to her skill, her ultimate, her follow-up. Lingsha can be used to nicely generate energy for Big Herta. So Lingsha is a very, very nice option when it comes to being able to generate energy for Big Herta. Plus, if you do use Jade on a team with Big Herta, you can also make Lingsha the deck collector, especially if you are running a faster Lingsha who can attack very frequently. What she can do is get stacks for Jade, which now results in Jade unleashing frequent follow-ups. And this results in more and more energy for Big Herta here, as well as of course stacking interpretation onto enemies. Huohuo is great when it comes to giving more energy for the team. As we know, Herta has a pretty big energy cost of 220, so Huohuo will be able to nicely give her a good amount of energy, which can definitely help out with getting her ultimate sooner. Plus, of course, Huohuo being able to give energy for the rest of the team can be very useful as well. For example, if you use Huohuo alongside Sunday, or even Huahua alongside Remembrance Trailblazer, Huahua can help with getting their ultimates sooner, which this can result in benefiting Big Herta. In the case of Sunday, how this will benefit is if Sunday gets his ultimate sooner, now Sunday can use his ultimate onto Big Herta, which results in even more energy gain. And in the case of Remembrance Trailblazer, being able to take advantage of their ultimate allows you to increase Mem's charge, and this can result in you being able to use the 100% advance forward sooner onto Big Herta. As for the alternative sustains as well, Gallagher can be nice with quid pro quo. This can allow him to generate energy for the team. Plus, Gallagher is really nice in the case of generating skill points for the team. And depending on what kind of team you're using, if it is more skill point heavy, then this can be very nice for Big Herta. In the case of Aventurine, he does of course have his follow-ups, so he can also be a very nice option when it comes to being of course, a nice sustain on the team, but also potentially having frequent follow-ups can be pretty handy for stacking the interpretation onto enemies, but also being able to, of course, generate more energy for Big Herta. And one last thing I wanted to talk about before we move to Aglaea, when it comes to the Erudition characters you can use alongside Big Herta, as I mentioned, you can use Serval, Little Herta, you can use Jade, you can also even use a character like Himiko. I've actually showcased Himiko, Rame, and Lingsha alongside Big Herta, and it is a pretty fun team as well. There's multiple Erudition characters you can take advantage of when it comes to the more budget-friendly Erudition characters, and then also, of course, the premium Erudition characters. So I would say when it comes to team building with Big Herta, she definitely has a lot of options that you can take advantage of, which in my opinion does make her pretty free-to-play friendly, as you can use a bunch of budget-friendly characters alongside her and still get very, very nice results when it comes to endgame modes. And now let's move on to Aglaea. Now with Aglaea, of course, more testing will have to be done, but do keep in mind, of course, she is a more hypercarry oriented character. So since she does take advantage of course, getting additional energy, she is also, of course, a Remembrance character, as I've mentioned. So when it comes to team building with Aglaea, one of her best team members will be Sunday. Sunday will assist with providing her energy that she desires. Sunday will be able to give crit rate and crit damage to Aglaea, and also Sunday will be able to advance forward Aglaea as well as her Memo Sprite, which now allows for even more attacking frequency, and this can assist with, of course, being able to quickly ramp up Aglaea's speed stacks. In the live stream, we were able to see that Aglaea can have 6 stacks, which this is in relation to the speed stacks that she can get within battle. So Sunday being able to provide the advance forward for her as well as the Memo Sprite will definitely assist with ramping this up, but of course, the energy is definitely a huge benefit as well. And then on top of that, Sunday also provides additional buffs if the character does have a summon, which Memo Sprites are considered summons, so Aglaea will be able to take advantage of a huge damage boost from Sunday, as well as, of course, the crit damage, the crit rate, and so on. So Sunday will be definitely one of her best partners, and we did just get Sunday in 2.7, so it's more than likely they set this up so that if you wanted to invest into the summon playstyle, you can do so, and then to consider picking up Aglaea potentially afterwards. Now, when it comes to other supports you can use alongside Aglaea, this can consist of using a character like Robin. You could do Aglaea, Sunday, and Robin. You can also do Aglaea, Sunday, and Remembrance Trailblazer. You can potentially consider doing this as well. And then when it comes to the sustain option, Huahua will be a very, very nice option when it comes to using her alongside Aglaea, due to the fact that Huahua will be able to provide the team more energy, which of course Aglaea could take advantage of, as well as Sunday being able to get closer to using his ultimate. And if you do end up using a character like Robin, for example, this also assists with giving Robin more energy for her ultimate as well. So Huahua will be an excellent sustain to use alongside Aglaea. You can also consider using Gallagher with quid pro quo. This could be a nice option as well, as he now can assist with giving energy to an ally on the team. And then, of course, you can also consider using Remembrance Trailblazer alongside Aglaea as well. Herta and Aglaea do share a lot of supports that you can use on either one of their teams. With Big Herta, you can use Remembrance Trailblazer, Sunday, and Robin, and with Aglaea, you can use Remembrance Trailblazer, Sunday, and Robin as well. The only main difference, though, is that in Aglaea's case, then she is a hyper carry, and you do want to take advantage of 2 supports alongside her, in comparison to Big Herta's team, where you only need to put 1 support if you are using a sustain, of course. That is something, of course, to also keep in mind. You could potentially also use Tingyun with Aglaea. Tingyun will be able to grant more energy with her ultimate. I'll definitely test it near her release. When it comes to both of their team varieties, I do personally feel like Big Herta has a bit more team variety when it comes to who could be used alongside her, due to the fact that she does have very nice budget-friendly options as well as the premium options. But something I also thought I'd mention, when it comes to Big Herta in particular, because of how her kit is set up, she will be able to potentially get better in the future due to the fact that any Erudition release, if they potentially have a very nice synergy with her, this is now another teammate you can use alongside her. And what I personally predict might end up happening in the future is we might end up getting a Erudition character that might be her new best in slot. Kind of like how with Acheron we ended up getting Jiao Cho, who is amazing for her type of playstyle. So in the future, we might actually end up getting an Erudition character that is similar to how Jiao Cho is for Acheron. We don't know this for sure, but once again, this might end up happening in the future, and that would be very, very cool to see. Hopefully it ends up being a character like Screwlum, because then I can have like a team theme of like Herta, Screwlum, and then maybe Ruame. I don't know. It would just be a fun team theme. But regardless, I think both of these characters will be very, very nice if you are looking for a new DPS option. When it comes to being free-to-play friendly, I do personally think Big Herta is a bit more free-to-play friendly than Aglaea, as Herta has a bit more variety when it comes to her budget-friendly options. If I had to give my personal opinion of which character I personally think, at least in 3.0, is a bit more worthwhile to pick up, I would say when it comes to just free-to-play players in general, especially those that may not have Sunday, I would be looking a bit more at Big Herta. Now, if you have Sunday, I would say both of these characters possess very nice value for potentially picking up. And when it comes to Aglaea, before she releases, I will be able to release early access showcases on her, just to be able to show off her performance, as well as, of course, when it comes to using more budget-friendly options versus more premium options. So I'll definitely be sure to showcase that. But for right now, I am leaning a bit more towards Big Herta. If you disagree, do let me know why. I would love to know which character you guys are more in favor for. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Do let me know all of your thoughts. If you disagree with me, I would love to know why. I just love having these types of discussions. And of course, if you did enjoy this video, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.